If you need help with your college basketball picks today, I have got you covered. I've got two team specific situational angles for college basketball. I've also got three NCAA wide situational angles ready to roll here today. We're going to kick it right off by saying please never make a bet based on any single trend. These trends and angles are only part of the process. There are many trends and angles for each game. What I recommend, if you're using these as part of your handicapping process, I recommend that you look at all of what you feel are the relevant trends and angles for each game and weigh them out to see if they weigh out more heavily on one side. For this first team specific trend, we're going to look at Morehead State. We're going to go back to last season when they play at home, and the total is in the 130s. And you can see here they are 10-0 straight up, 10-0 against the spread, covering the spread by nearly 6 points per game. You can see that this is active tonight with Morehead State taking on Edwardsville. Let's go right into team trend number 2. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell for notifications. Now we're going to look at Wisconsin Green Bay, and we're going to look at them just this season when they're facing an opponent that is allowing a field goal percentage of at least 45% on the season. So this is opponent's average, opponent's field goal percentage. So this is the field goal percentage that is being allowed by Green Bay's opponents, and that field goal percentage for the season is 45% or more. So not a good defensive team that they're playing against. We'll hit the SDQL button. And you can see that despite the average line basically being pick'em, Green Bay is 9-2 straight up, but 11-0 against the spread, covering the spread by more than 9.5 points per game. And you can see that this is active tonight with Green Bay visiting Robert Morris. And now we're going to get into the NCAA wide situational angles. Before I get to the first one, I ask that you please hit the thumbs up to like this video. I would greatly appreciate that. For this first one, we're going to look at what this is here is team average margin, which is scoring margin per game, is between +3.5 and +8. So this team is outscoring their opponents on the season by an average of 3.5 to 8 points per game. They're facing an opponent, because that's OA, opponent's average. They're facing an opponent whose average per game scoring margin this season is -3.5 to +3.5. We're looking at our team playing at least their 15th game of the season because we want to have a good amount of current season data in these averages. And also, our team over their last 5 games has allowed 75 or more points in each of their last 5 games. So, team sum, or what are we looking for a sum of? Their opponent's points being greater than or equal to 75. We're going to go back their last 5 games, and this is saying that they allowed 75 or more in all 5 of their last 5 games. And we're going to look at this situation going back to the 2019 season. We'll hit the SDQL button. And sometimes the more parameters there are, the more calculations there are to do, the longer it takes to get the database to spit out the results. So sometimes we got to wait a little bit. I actually have a trend with more parameters than this coming up. So sometimes this is just what you run into in the database, and it's also a combination of how many people are using it. So sometimes you've just got to play the waiting game. And while we're waiting, again, guys, these are not plays that I'm giving you here. These are individual trends and angles that are only to be used in conjunction with your other handicapping for these games. So as you can see here, teams in this situation are 17-1 straight up, 15-2 against the spread. And that's with an average line of only minus 3.7. And you can see here that this is actually active on 2 games today. It's active on Denver against South Dakota. And it's also active on an alt board game here, Kennesaw State and Austin Pay. So 2 games qualify in that situational angle today. And now we'll go to what looks like a monster situational angle, but it's really not. Before I do that, though, guys, if you have any other trends or angles that you want me to look up on today's games, drop them in the comments. If you have any trends or angles that you found that are good for today's games, please share them in the comments as well. For this one, and I don't even know if I can fit this all on one screen. Oh, barely. No, I can't, actually. We're looking at home teams who won their last game by at least 20 points. And what all this means here is that their opponent's previous points, in fact, their opponent's previous points for the last 4 games are all at 70 or greater. So their opponents scored 70 or more points in each of their last 4 games. And what the end of this means here, and I'll try to highlight it all, is that their opponent also allowed 70 or more points in each of their last 4 games. And what you can't see on the screen now is that we're just going back to the 2019 season with this. So it looks like a lot, but it really isn't. It's home teams that won their last game by at least 20 points, and they're facing an opponent that has scored and allowed 70 or more points in each of its last 4 games. We'll hit the SDQL button, and now see that one loaded really quickly. Look at the over-under here. 4 overs, 20 unders. The game stayed under by an average of 7.6 points per game. I love, with these basketball trends and angles, any margin that is more than 2 possessions. So anything over 6 points, I'm liking. I'm liking that winning percentage there. It says 16.7%. That's the over percentage. So the under percentage for this angle is 83.3%. You can see that this is active tonight with Quinnipiac against, I believe that is St. Peter's. And that's going to bring us to the final league-wide situational angle for today's video. Before I get to that, though, guys, again, split my 2 plays yesterday. So I had a 7-game winning streak that got snapped last night. But still, 12-2 on my last 14 college basketball plays. As you can see on my page here at wt.buzz/db, I have a 5% max bet going tonight in college basketball. It is a total. I am number 1 at WagerTalk in college basketball profit this season. I am up 61.65 units. All of that was accomplished on totals. That is my 5% max bet tonight. It is a total. You'll also notice I am number 1 in overall ROI at WagerTalk, going all the way back to mid-September. And also in that time frame, number 1 in profit and ROI on 5% plays. So, and that's not even the best part. This play tonight, this 5% max bet, is backed by one of these NCAA-wide situational angles that has cashed 80% winners over the last 3+ seasons. It's also backed by a team-specific situational angle that is a perfect 9-0 over the last 3+ years, and both of those angles have been winning by huge margins. I love this play tonight. Get it right now on my page at wt.buzz/db. There's also still time to take advantage of that rest of February special. You can get the rest of my plays in college basketball, NBA, and the Super Bowl on Sunday for as little as $9 per day. And the icing on the cake is the 2 coupon codes that I have for you guys. The first one is DB7. If you use that at checkout on a 7-day pass, it will give you $30 off, which makes that 7-day pass only $69, and that is the same price as a 3-day pass So you'll be getting 7 days for the price of 3. The other one is coupon code 50 off 30. That is 50OFF30. That will take $50 off any 30-day either sports specific or 30-day all access pass. And that will give you, again, my NBA, college basketball, and Super Bowl plays over the next 30 days. And you can use those coupon codes for those packages. My page, again, is wt.buzz/db. Let's wrap this up today with the last situational angle. This is NCAA wide. We're looking at favorites. Actually, we're looking at double-digit favorites. We're going back to February 21st of 2021, so almost exactly 3 years. Again, we're using game number greater than or equal to 15, so it's this double-digit home favorite. It's at least their 15th game of the season, and we do that so that we get a good amount of games that fit into these averages that I'm about to talk about. Our team is allowing, so opponent's field goal percentage. So our team is allowing a field goal percentage on the season of between 40 and 42.5%. So a good defensive team. They're coming off a game, previous field goal percentage, where they shot 55% or better from the field. And they're facing an opponent who averages allowing a field goal percentage of between 45 and 47.5% on the season. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And again, it's going to think a little bit. You can see these teams now their average line is minus 14.5. So again, we're looking at double-digit favorites. So we got a big line here, and these teams do win. They're 25-2 straight up. But when it counts, they're only 4-22-1 against the spread. So that is 84.6% by fading these teams. And this says that we are supposed to fade Merrimack tonight and back Long Island plus the points. And that, I believe, is an alt board game as well. That is going to wrap it up for today's college basketball trends and angles video. Again, trends that you have to share, drop them in the comments. If you have any for me to look up, drop them in the comments. Don't forget to head over to wt.buzz/db and grab my 5% college basketball max bet tonight. Don't forget about those coupon codes you can use right there on your screen. And as always, best of luck on all of your wagers.